Hello, it's me again with another installment of Operating in the Creative. As you can see from the background here, I've moved. My wife and I have moved. I'll get into that in a minute. What I want to talk about operating in the creative today is basically using various or different mediums to help you in your life's journey. I recently, my wife and I contacted a psychic because my wife basically was going through some stuff and she needed some guidance. And so she wanted to contact the psychic. And so I agreed. I agreed to it. I paid for it, everything. And it was amazing. Now, let me give a little background before I go any further, though. You have to remember that I lived in Virginia Beach, Virginia for over 30 years. And Virginia Beach, Virginia is the headquarters for the Edgar Cayce Foundation. The Edgar Cayce Foundation deals, Edgar Cayce used to be, I believe, a Methodist minister in Tennessee. And he left that faith and started getting messages in his sleep. Thus the nickname, the Sleeping Prophet. His wife recorded things that he said in his sleep, and he was basically 100% accurate in all of his readings that he did while he was asleep. He spoke about people he never knew in his life, gave the locations where they were, even diagnosed things that were wrong with them, and gave the cures for them so that they can be cured of the diseases they had, all of which came true 100%. Now, so I don't have a problem contacting a psychic for some guidance, or to basically confirm what I'm going through in life. So when my wife suggested that she contact a psychic, I was all for it. Now I contacted a friend of mine. I contacted a friend of mine who's a quote unquote prophetess, and she was, let's just say, she was concerned. She was trying to say, psychics are evil, don't be in sin, and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And then the mistake that she made, though, one big mistake she made, was she mentioned about how, when Moses went against the magicians of Pharaoh, Moses beat the magicians of Pharaoh, and then Moses represents God, and Pharaoh represented those that were not of God. Let me tell you a little something about that story that I guess she fails to understand. First of all, Moses, everybody knows the story of Moses. Moses was put in a little bassinet and his mother, because couldn't take care of him, she put him in a little bassinet, put him in a river, and he floated down the river. One of the handmaidens of the Pharaoh found the baby floating down the Nile River, and she took the baby and took him into Pharaoh's court. And to make a long story short, his actual mother worked in Pharaoh's court as well. But as it turned out, they needed somebody to take care of the baby, and so Moses' real mother ended up actually taking care of him. Now, as a child who grew up in the Pharaoh's court, much like Paul in the New Testament, Moses in the Old Testament had access to some of the world's greatest mathematicians, scientists, astrologers, astronomers, you name it. All right. Moses basically had access to some of the best educators in the world. Okay. Much like Paul in the New Testament. Moses serve the same God that Pharaoh did. Okay? So to say that Moses served the God of the Israelites is not correct. That is not true. Okay? Moses, the reason why Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, there's two reasons. Number one, because he saw that they were being mistreated, but most of all, he saw an opportunity. Moses saw an opportunity to be the leader of a people group, all right? And so he took that advantage. The fact that Moses went up against the magicians of Pharaoh only means that Moses surpassed Pharaoh's magicians in magic and things of that nature. All right, but still Moses served the same God they did. My point being, all right, in the religious arena, you have what's called prophets and prophetesses. Okay, that's what they call them in the religious arena. In the non-religious arena, they're called psychics, clairvoyants, and things of that nature. A psychic and a clairvoyant. Now, another distinction. Let me make another distinction. A psychic and a clairvoyant operate in the spiritual realm, much like the prophet and prophetess does. However, prophets and prophetesses confine themselves to the religious arena, whereas psychics, clairvoyants, and people of that nature basically operate in the spiritual arena, well, the non-religious spiritual arena, philosophical arena, if you will. And I said philosophical for a reason. Religion borrowed almost everything that it has from philosophy. Philosophy came before religion. Okay, so the point I'm making there is the philosophical sciences, if you will, are actually more accurate and more, what's the word I'm trying to use? I guess they're more, I can't think of the word, but anyways, they basically have more weight than prophets and prophetesses in the religious arena. So for people in the religious arena to basically demonize these people, to demonize psychics and clairvoyants is just hogwash. It doesn't mean anything. My experience, again, like I said, is that psychics and clairvoyants actually have more. They're actually better than prophets and prophetesses because they operate in more of the metaphysical sciences, the astronomy, astrology. I mean, even prophets and prophetesses use numerology and astrology and astronomy sometimes when they do their so-called prophecies. So the point I'm making is that stop demonizing people that you don't understand, things that you don't understand. Stop saying, "Oh, it's a demon," or "Oh, it's evil." No, it's not. And on top of that, the psychic. Now, we didn't even go visit the psychic. We telephoned her. She lives 2 states over. Didn't know a thing about us. All right. We made the appointment. Got on the phone. She was 100% correct in what she said. Some of the things we were going through, and then she gave us some advice, and she was just perfect, spot on. Didn't make a mistake. Nothing. All right, so it was well worth the little bit of money that we spent to pay her to do that. And speaking of paying, people might use the excuse, well, she's doing it for profit. Well, the Bible says that a workman's worthy of their hire. Do you think these preachers and these pastors do things for free? No. But in any case, I challenge you to broaden your perspective of the in the spiritual arena, and begin to learn to operate in the creative, not the religious. Well, that's what was on my mind today. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, feel free to leave one. Um, as the as the psychic said, peace, peace out. Bye bye.